Last week was the 9th anniversary of Frank Ocean's Blonde, and with it came a snippet of Frank Ocean lore explaining how the album's cover came together.
He said, "Can I use this for the cover of my next album?"
The photographer Wolfgang Tillman explained how he was actually commissioned by the magazine Fantastic Man to photograph Frank as their 10th anniversary cover story. The whole ordeal turned out to be a huge headache though, as Wolfgang came to Frank in London to shoot, only to have Frank cancel multiple times last minute.
It took a few weeks to get Frank and me together. We had several attempts only for him to call short notice. Something came up.
At this point, Wolfgang kind of gave up and headed back to Berlin. Soon after, Frank telephoned him and said Berlin would actually work better for Frank. And to Wolfgang's surprise, Frank did drive 12 hours through the night to meet him in Berlin the next morning. Finally, they got to shoot for the magazine and got a ton of great pictures. While there, Frank asked Wolfgang about the Berlin nightclub Berghain, which unfortunately was closed. But Frank said he might drive back from London this weekend to go, which he did, and then the two of them would go club together at Berghain. But weirdly, just 2 weeks later, the magazine Fantastic Man would get some letters from Frank's lawyers. For whatever reason, Frank refused to let the magazine use any of the pictures. Wolfgang was annoyed by this, but him and Frank would eventually move past it and continue chatting here and there. About a year later, while texting each other, Frank would ask Wolfgang if he could use one particular photo for his upcoming album. Wolfgang allowed it and then mentioned how he himself has been working on music too, then sending Frank his new track called Device Control. Frank loved it so much, he asked if he could sample it on the intro to his upcoming album Endless. To Wolfgang's surprise, he didn't just sample it, he included the full track as the outro to the album.
I had music on the first album and the cover of the second album.
I didn't know that.